This video is about how to remove the bar and chain from a chainsaw. Let's look at the tools we might use. First, the common scrunch. Or you might want to use a breaker bar and a screwdriver. Putty knife is good to have too. Let's get started. First, let's loosen the bar nuts. Then we'll take some tension off the chain. A couple of turns. Some saws will have the tension adjustment back here. Some saws will have it here on the other side of the bar. Other saws will have it here where this one has it. Okay, now that we have the chain loose, which will make it much easier to put back together, we'll take the bar nuts off. Then we'll remove the clutch cover. Then we'll pull the bar out a little bit and back to the drive sprocket. Then we can remove the chain. And then the bar. Now, before we put the bar back on, it's a really good idea to do some cleaning in this area. Get all the loose debris, chips and stuff out of there so that we maintain a good seal, and we'll get good oil pressure from the oil gallery here onto the bar and chain. Clean the bar too. If you have compressed air, it's a good idea to blow out these little holes that are the oil galleries, if the bar has them, and at any rate to blow out the groove here as well. Use a putty knife to clean the grooves. And you're ready to remount the bar. Now the chain. Be sure when you mount the chain that the pointy part of the chain, the front of it, is pointing forward on top of the bar. If you don't do that, you'll have your chain on backwards. It doesn't cut as well. Okay, bar and chain are back on. Now the clutch cover. Since we loosened the chain before we took it off, now it's very easy to put it back on. Put the clutch cover back on. Look here and make sure that the clutch cover is up against the body of the saw with no gap. If you have a gap, this is how the clutch cover looks if it's installed correctly. If you have a gap, something's wrong, and if you try to tighten it down, you'll probably damage or destroy your chain tension adjustment mechanism. Okay, as you can see, the chain's too loose. That's the way we wanted it. Now we take the screwdriver or the scrunch and we tighten. If you watch here, you'll see the chain come up. Lift the tip of the bar to where the chain is its loosest. And that looks like about the right amount of slack. You don't want it too tight, or it will damage the crank bearings, possibly the crank seals. It'll make your bar wear out early. Don't want that. Now we tighten these, but not too tight. A broken bar stud is difficult and expensive to replace, so don't tighten it too tight. This is a chainsaw with an outboard clutch. The drum on this clutch is outside the case, and there's some things you should look for if you're changing the bar and chain on such a saw. Let's take a quick look at it. First of all, be aware that, like all modern saws, your saw probably has a chain brake. That's more significant for these outboard clutch type saws. Let's take off the clutch cover. Now you notice that with the chain brake on, the clutch cover does not want to come off, but some people will inevitably manage to get them off with the chain brake on. Don't try to do that. Release the chain brake. I'm not going to release the tension on this chain because I'm not going to take the bar off. I just want to show you the clutch cover and the clutch. Here you'll see the clutch. It's an outboard clutch. And the band that wraps around the outboard clutch is in the clutch cover housing here. That's it right there. If the chain brake is on like it is now, it's not going back on because it won't fit over the clutch. There's a big gap in here which you can't see, but you can see it's not on. Now, as I said, from time to time I see this situation where someone has tried to change or tried to remount the clutch cover without releasing the brake, and they get frustrated and get it started on the bar studs. Like that, and they can't get it to go all the way on, so they put the bar nuts on and tighten them down thinking they can press it onto the clutch drum. That's a good way to really mess up a saw, and usually causes some pretty severe damage, so you don't want to do that. Release the brake, put it on, bar nuts, lift the nose of the bar, tighten the bar nuts. And it's done. Chain brake on, chain brake off. Hope that helps.